Tens of millions of Americans have been laid off during the coronavirus pandemic. In New York, the country's hardest hit city, the job losses are especially acute. From February to May, more than 930,000 New Yorkers lost their jobs. That's roughly 20% of the workforce.
As people have lost their incomes, it's become harder and harder for people to afford the basics, including food.
The mayor says over 2 million New Yorkers are experiencing food insecurity. That's about a quarter of the city's population. More than 100 million free meals have been distributed to those in need.
Now we've reached a milestone, and it's one that should make us simultaneously proud as New Yorkers that we stepped up for our fellow New Yorkers, but also sad because so many people have needed so much help.
Recent legislation has also increased the number of New Yorkers eligible for food stamps.
In New York City, every family with a child enrolled in a public school will automatically get a $420 so-called pandemic electronic benefit transfer card, which, like food stamps, can be used to buy food at authorized grocers.
It's a temporary measure to address reduced access to free school lunches during the coronavirus school closures. The program is part of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, passed by the U.S. Congress in March.
Providing this benefit gives families more flexibility rather than having to say, go to a school, pick up the food or something like this. This just gives families a lot more flexibility.
In New York City, every public school student is entitled to a free school lunch and will get food stamps regardless of income. Some are advising wealthier families to spend the money, but then donate an equivalent amount to food charities. One food activist has created a website to support that. It's called sharemypebt.com. Gunderson encourages people to support food banks, but also says wealthy families shouldn't feel guilty about getting the benefit. He says they'll end up paying for it in other ways.
Those who are wealthier and have to pay higher taxes will eventually be paying for these benefits out of their taxes.
Karina Huber, CGTN, New York.